Hello, everyone, and welcome into your reading. This is going to be taking a look at the Twin Flame Collective for Saturday, February 24th, and see what all messages are coming through. We'll take a look at the energy of the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, and then the energy of the connection, as well as taking a look at some Oracle cards. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what all messages are wanting to come through. All right. So, in the push from the universe, this is for Divine Feminine. We have Queen of Cups. How you're showing up is the Emperor energy. How you're showing up in the soul space is the Hermit. The challenge card is Page of Pentacles in reverse. Advice from Spirit is Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And then the likely outcome is the Star in reverse. So, when we're taking a look overall at the energy, the push from the universe, that Queen of Cups energy, that's that kindness and compassion. So that's really what the Divine Feminine is being pushed to right now, is that loving, nurturing, compassionate type of energy. How the Divine Masculine is showing up is actually more in Divine Masculine energy rather than Divine Feminine energy. So that's that strong, driven type of energy. And in the soul space, it's the Hermit is about kind of having that deep introspection and quiet reflection, but also the Hermit is leading the way. So they're doing that introspection, but they're holding this lantern and they're leading the way for others. So this is definitely having that feel that the Divine Feminine is working on sitting in her power to be able to light the way for the masculine. So she's going to be lighting the way, and that's happening at the soul space, even if right now it's a little bit more, I would say, closed off type of energy. It's not as much of that loving energy, but the push from the universe is to move more into that feminine energy. So in the challenge space with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, there's a little bit of this like laziness or immaturity, and it's reading that the reason why is it's kind of like, okay, well, things haven't gone as quickly as I wanted them to. They haven't gone exactly in the direction that I'm wanting to. So it's almost that sense of laziness, like, why bother to try? But that's kind of the physical showing, with that Emperor energy, like in the physical 3D space, it's sort of like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit here a little bit closed off, even though, advice from Spirit and in the Hermit, in how you're showing up in the soul space, your soul knows that you're getting closer. So advice from Spirit with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a little bit of that, I'll call it greedy, selfish type of energy. And so with that coming through as advice from Spirit, it's a matter of, yes, you need to protect yourself and your energy so that you can be the way shower. But I think it's also a little bit of that caution that if you move too much into this, greedy type of energy, that you're not going to have the results that you want. So with the Star in reverse, the part where you're going to run into a little bit of issues is that this is a sense of distrust and feeling uninspired and kind of having a lack of faith in the process. So if you move into, I guess, rather than this being advice from Spirit saying you should do this, it's more like warning from Spirit that you're headed down that path because you've kind of gotten a little bit too far away from the warm, loving energy. Is the advice from Spirit is saying, hey, if you continue down that path, if you continue down this kind of greedy, selfish type of energy, you're going to feel uninspired. You're going to lose faith in the process because this isn't moving you closer into union. What's going to move you closer into union is your cards up here. It's going to be sitting in that Queen of Cups energy, and allowing yourself to work on your own healing, work on your own path. So a little bit of this, I'll call it greediness, is working on your own path, like keeping your energy for yourself, because then you're able to light the way for your masculine. Let's take a look at some of the next levels of energy coming in from the bottom of the deck. That's the first level of energy, and then that's the next level of energy. So the first level of energy, we have Five of Wands, Judgment, and Eight of Cups in reverse. So with your Five of Wands, there's kind of a little bit of conflict coming up, and then feeling stuck and avoiding change, because it's almost like there's this mounting sense of, okay, I want things to move forward. And, like with our challenge being this Page of Pentacles in reverse, this is kind of that, like I said, that lack of direction, or the kind of that laziness of, I've been trying and things aren't coming together the way I thought they were. And so I think the first level of energy that you're coming into is going to be this sense of, that there's a little bit of conflict and like butting of heads, probably as it relates to, I would say, the timing of the situation. And then you feel like you're stuck, like, okay, well, what do I do next? But Judgment is coming in. And so with Judgment coming in, this is like this awakening, this sense of renewal or rebirth. So acknowledging that, hey, wait, this is going to create this looping. I have to adjust my mindset to be able to get that favorable energy coming in. So there's going to be a little bit of conflict, and it seems like it's about the timing and how quickly are things progressing. Then the next level of energy after that, we have our Three of Pentacles in reverse, Page of Swords in reverse, and King of Pentacles. So there is a level of stability and prosperity that's coming in afterwards, even though you're going to have probably a little bit of lack of focus and maybe some missed opportunities to get things going in the right direction, and also a sense of still kind of that conflict and that rivalry. So it still seems like it's a bit of this power struggle type of energy that's coming in, like Divine Feminine wants something to happen faster or differently than how it's actually showing up. And so that's creating some of this sense of conflict. But ultimately, if you're able to sit in that more loving energy and be that way shower, you are going to get to a point or a place of like stability and prosperity. So that's the energy for Divine Feminine. Now let's take a look at Divine Masculine. Let's see what wants to come through for Divine Masculine. Oop. So the jumper card, and I'll just put it down there. Can't really see that, is the Strength card. But let's, I'm not necessarily putting that in that first slot space, but just so you can see it. Okay. Advice or push from the universe is the Sun. How Divine Masculine is showing up in the 3D world is the World in reverse. What's happening in the soul space is the Tower. The challenge is King of Cups. Advice from Spirit is Six of Pentacles. And likely outcome is the Hermit. So, interesting that Divine Feminine's already there in that Hermit energy, and Divine Masculine is moving towards that Hermit energy. But overall, one of the big themes, and I feel like this has come out a lot in my daily readings as well, is the Strength card. And so that is about that perseverance and kind of weathering through, being steadfast in what it is that you're working towards. So having that steadfast energy. So the push from the universe is the Sun. So this is the universe is really, really pushing Divine Masculine into that space of joy and optimism and satisfaction and abundance. Like the, Divine really is trying to get the masculine into that place. With the World in reverse, how the masculine is showing up, not throwing up, is that they're seeking closure, and there's some frustration. So there's something that has been keeping them out of alignment, out of balance, and they're really working on seeking closure for that and trying to move past that, because remember, the World is the last card in the major arcana. That it has to do with wrapping up cycles. So they're really trying to do that in the 3D world. How they're showing up in the soul space is the tower. So things are collapsing at in the soul space level, and that's kind of indicative of the work that Divine Masculine has been doing, some of that healing, because they will not be able to change their, I guess, 3D situation without having something in the soul space change first. Um, and that would have to do with some of these long held beliefs or wounds, whatever that may be, clearing of past life traumas and karma, and closing some of that out. So that's how they're showing up in the soul space. So that's actually a good thing, because what comes after the tower is the star card. It's that faith and hope and, hey, a brighter future is coming, but that has to happen first. Like something has to go away and crumble, whether it's attachment to a job, life, or work, career type of situation. Maybe they're in an existing relationship that has to crumble. Whatever that is, whatever that programming is, has to go away first. And so it's starting to be cleared in the soul space, and then that's going to push forward into the 3D as well. In the challenge space, we have the King of Cups. So the challenge is having that calm, balanced kind of sense of wisdom of being able to see past what's happening in the 3D. So the Divine Masculine is the matrix twin. It's the unawakened twin. So they're the ones that are living more so in the 3D world. And so this wisdom and balance in terms of the challenge is how to push out of that into that soul space, into that 5D space, to be able to see their situation for the lessons and for the growth perspective. So advice from Spirit that's coming in is the Six of Pentacles. So that is that sense of charity and giving and, trying to give help. So as they're trying to transition away from whatever cycle is keeping them out of their abundance, out of their blessings, it's that advice of, okay, don't be selfish right now. You need to move into the next phase, into the next timeline, whatever you want to call it. And so it's almost like, okay, be extra loving, extra generous with whoever else is in play, knowing that this transition is coming, and be generous during the transition period rather than trying to fight for every tiny little bit of what they feel that they want or they deserve, because after making this transition, they're going to be coming into their own abundance and blessings. And so it's not necessary to try to, screw somebody else over on this side of things as you're exiting, because there's going to be so much coming in. Like, you don't need to do that. And then the likely outcome is the Hermit. So that's going to be that period of reflection and introspection and being able to help light the way for others. So one of the things, usually the awakened twin is more, I'll call it, actively aware of the fact that they're light workers or healers, and they're they're way showers. They're lighting the way for other people. But the Divine Masculine is starting to become aware of that as well, that the experiences they're going through will help them be able to shine the light for other people who are maybe struggling with the same situations. All right, so on the bottom of the deck, next levels of energy are what you don't see coming in. All right, so in the kind of immediate energy that's coming in, we have our Six of Swords, we have our Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and then we have our Three of Wands in reverse. So kind of that next level of energy coming in. Here with our Six of Swords, there's positive change. They're traveling, moving on, so kind of these pieces are starting to come together. So there's a sense of moving on. But there's a little bit of clinging to the past, like some frustrations and maybe some obstacles, but they are moving on from whatever this cycle is that needs to close out. There's also this energy, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So again, there's a little bit of this kind of greedy or selfish energy. And hold on, because I'm wanting to say that was here. Oh, Queen of Pentacles. So that was here on the Divine Feminine. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles in reverse here as advice from Spirit. So a little bit of that energy of it it does have a sense of greediness and selfishness to it, but that level of energy coming in at this stage when divine masculine is trying to move on, that's a good level of selfishness. So down here, when the advice from spirit is, be generous, this is also up here, though, it's a matter of saying, okay, but you have to balance being generous and helping others with making sure you're still staying on your path and that you're not clinging to the past because you're trying to overcompensate. So that's the key here, is not overcompensating, still keeping that same level of, or that good high level of appropriate selfishness that, hey, I need to take care of myself. I need to put my own mask on first. So the next level of energy that's coming after that, so we have our 5 of Wands, our 9 of Swords, and then our 7 of Pentacles. So there is definitely, there's going to be conflict that's coming up with this 5 of Wands energy. And I think Divine Feminine had some of that too, 5 of Wands energy. So there is going to be some conflict coming up for the Divine Masculine that's going to be keeping them up at night, that's going to be causing them stress and anxiety, but there is growth that comes with it too. So again, if they're closing out either, say, a career scenario, job scenario, or if they're currently in a partnership or in a relationship that needs to end, it's not going to be, oh, hey, smooth sailing, I've decided that I'm doing something else and boom, everything's fine. There's going to be some conflict. There's going to be some stress. So, if you're Divine Feminine watching this, know that that's coming up for your masculine, and approach it with a sense of patience and love and support, knowing that there's a lot of stress and anxiety that's coming up for them, but there will be benefits. So they will be reaping the rewards of staying true, holding on to their own energy, and being able to kind of separate themselves out from whatever situation is keeping them locked out of their blessings. So that is what is happening for Divine Masculine. And now let's take a look at the connection in general. Let's see what messages want to come through. Oops, for the connection. We had our 7 of Cups with a flip card. Let's put that over here on the side. Oh my gosh, these cards are flying today. And then we have our 3 of Pentacles. So we'll put those over to the side because I don't do the same energies for the connection. All right. So let's take a look for the connection. Push from the universe is the Devil in reverse. How it's showing up right now is the Moon in the soul space. It's showing up as Page of Cups in reverse. The challenge is the Hierophant in reverse. Advice from Spirit is 9 of Wands in reverse, and likely outcome is the 5 of Wands in reverse. So the 2 jumper cards, we had our 7 of Cups in reverse, and then we had our 3 of Pentacles. So from a twin flame perspective, usually the 3 of Pentacles is indicative of kind of being on path, like on mission with Spirit, since, there's 1 pentacle for Divine Masculine, 1 for Divine Feminine, 1 for Spirit. And we also have the 7 of Cups in reverse. So there's a little bit of confusion and distraction, like, hey, there's too many things going on. In this deck, it's the Loch Ness Monster is the 7 of Cups. So almost kind of like that sense of, wait, is this real? Is this something that's for real? Or is this just like make-believe? But, overall, Spirit and the divine is definitely pushing you towards your union, towards your path, towards your mission together. So advice or push from the universe with the Devil in reverse is about having that freedom and release, and for the connection is kind of from the connection standpoint of not letting other things keep the connection from coming online. So when that comes up for an individual person, the Devil energy is anything that's keeping you from, being on your highest timeline, whether it's addictions to, drugs, alcohol, spending, gambling, eating, whatever. So in reverse, it's finding freedom from that. So this is about the connection, severing ties or severing energetic bonds with things that are keeping the connection from coming online. How the connection is showing up is the moon. So there's a little bit of kind of like, I'll call it mystery or illusion, like things aren't really clear because this is like what's happening by the dark of night. So in the 3D world, the connection isn't readily apparent to everybody, or maybe to anybody around. So the connection is still kind of hidden by the dark of night. How the connection is showing up in the soul space is this Page of Cups. So there's a little bit of still some immaturity and insecurity because of the fact that it's not anchored in the 3D yet. So, usually it'll come online in the 5D first and then it anchors into the 3D, but it's almost kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy, or it kind of goes round and round a little bit, that it's not anchored here, which kind of pushes some of that worry and maybe instability at the 5D level. And it's also because of the fact that, Divine Masculine is undergoing a lot of changes and disruption in the soul space. So I think that's creating some imbalance or insecurity for the connection itself as Divine Masculine goes through that. So from the challenge standpoint with the Hierophant in reverse, so that's going to be, the challenge is breaking rules and kind of breaking some of those long held personal beliefs. So from the connection standpoint, it's, if there's elements that are making this a non-traditional or non-fairy book or fairy tale type of scenario, that's causing some challenge in the 3D union, because it doesn't look like it's all nicely, neatly packaged with the big red bow on the top, like you may want. So advice from Spirit, then we have our 9 of Wands in reverse. So the connection is being strained a little bit right now. There's a sense of exhaustion that, there is all of this other stuff going on, and just being able to find that time to be able to have the connection sit in that peaceful, happy place. But the likely outcome is finding that resolution, finding solutions, finding peace. So even though right now the connection seems a little exhausted or strained because of all this other stuff that's going on, it is getting to a point, the likely outcome is this does look like it's coming together. So it may not be whatever the perfect fairy tale romance packaging looks like, but there is some sort of resolution that's coming in to be able to provide some of that relief from the strain that the connection is feeling. All right. And so since that's the likely one, let's go ahead first. Since I know a lot of times people will ask, well, what's the timing look like of that? When does that relief come in? Let's look. By the next full moon. So I'm doing this on, there's a full moon today. So since I'm doing this today, and today is the full moon in Virgo, I would say it's probably going to be the next full moon. So, you're not necessarily going to feel the relief like 3 minutes after you watch this video. But coming soon to find some sort of resolution, some sort of solution. And that's not necessarily saying union, but a little bit of the solution to feeling burned out, having that sense of exhaustion. So let's take a look at the moon card. A time to give rather than take. So that goes back to the nurturing, the Queen of Cups energy. That's the push from the universe, is a time to give. So especially since oftentimes it's Divine Feminine that's watching these videos, make sure that you're not looking at it from the perspective of, yeah, but what about me? What about me? Because it looks like the Divine Masculine has a lot of stuff going on with the Tower happening in the soul space. It's kind of, it could be that your Divine Masculine is entering a dark night of the soul phase, and there's some big things going on. So make sure that you're being mindful of that in terms of how you're interacting and how that might color things. There's energetic forces working against you, and that so that is likely what the divine masculine is pushing back against right now in terms of some of this soul growth and the healing and the lessons, because it looked like with divine feminine that it was more of a matter of, like you're tired because of the fact that things haven't come online as quickly as you had hoped. But I would say the reason for that for it not coming online as quickly as you had hoped is because there's something working against you. And it feels very much like it's coming from divine masculine's side of the equation. So the two cards that just flipped, we have heart-to-heart conversations, which is honestly discuss your feelings with each other, and then playfulness to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And I'll pull one as well. Let go of control issues. So with this, if divine masculine is overburdened, some of this nurturing and caring, weave in playfulness with it. So rather than letting yourself sit in that, in this, emperor energy, that's a little bit more of that masculine energy, be fun, be flirty, be playful, and at the same time also letting go of control issues. So one of the things that I think is a common theme for divine feminines on this path is there's a little bit of that sense of, if divine masculine would just wake up and realize the connection, then it could come online and then everything would be fine. So that has elements of control issues and even sometimes shades of narcissistic tendencies woven into it. The whole idea of, if only they knew what I know, then we would be sitting in a better position. But there's likely some soul contracts and karmic debt that needs to be closed off on their end. They need to finish those lessons before being able to sit peacefully in union. So letting go of the control issues and sitting in that place of respect of saying, they have their own journey and I need to give them the space and the freedom and the love and support for them to complete their journey and walk along their journey and really learn those lessons. Because essentially, think of it this way, with the awakened twin, and I almost hesitate to use this example, so maybe I'll try a little bit of a different one. So if you're someone who's been somewhere a couple times, whatever it is, a theme park or a general, like a park or whatever, and you have a friend who hasn't been there before, if you're grabbing their hand and like running through the park with them, like, oh, let's just get to this best part, there's, they could be sitting there like, oh, wait, I still have this I want to see, and that I want to see, and this I want to see, and you're holding my hand and grabbing and pulling me so hard that I don't get a chance to take in anything else that's going on. So make sure from a control perspective that you're not trying to force this to happen faster than the universe is ready for it to happen. All right, and the last card I'm going to pull, this is from the Twin Flame deck, is Reconciling Differences. So reunion, 10-10. So that's kind of wrapping up the end of cycles, and you're reconciling some of your differences, and some of that will happen when you start to let go of control. Kind of the whole thing of, I don't know why this popped into mind as I'm looking at one of my feathers. I found this one at the park, but if you want the feather to work right, you can't grab it and crush it like, come on, let's do this. I'm going to control this, because it's going to break it and it's going to, ruin it. So you have to, let it be, let it do its thing. And kind of like that with your divine masculine, like let them learn their lessons, do what they need to do in their own timing, and having that faith that things are coming together in the timing that they're supposed to be coming together. So, it looks like you're going to be making some progress very quickly, not necessarily jumping fully into union, but making some progress on some of that maybe stale energy that you have going on. So I hope this has been helpful. Within the next day or two, I will be posting the videos for the first half of March. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so that you can be alerted when the by grouping, and then I look at each individual zodiac sign there as well, but the readings for the first half of March, as well as the regular daily readings and some other special ones. So as always, take only what resonates, and if this doesn't match up with where you are with your twin, don't try to force this narrative onto it, but take whatever resonates and leave the rest. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time.